Hello survivors, and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. And in this video we're going to be looking at the war rewards, and obviously it's in this all-out war for wave 1, and I believe wave 2 and wave 3 have cross-region Blitz War. I could be incorrect there, so if you are in wave 2 and wave 3, do tell me what war you have got. So the rewards themselves, obviously you can see there's these velvet cakes as placement rewards, as well as these boxes which have a choice of selected collectibles. And it's going to be for S-Class Pete, S-Class Priya, S-Class Laupo, and S-Class Raulito. Now, in terms of how many you can get, if you become, 41st to 50th in an AOW, you can get 50, which really isn't that many. I think you're getting more from the last stage of the S-Class Pete roadmap, or I think you get 42 maybe from the last stage of the S-Class Pete roadmap. That's pretty sad, I guess, but if you come first, you can get 600, which is a bit more reasonable. But in terms of, let's say Raulito or Laupo, it costs 2,000 to get their 5-star ascendable, and you're getting 600 if you come in first. So you're getting nearly 30% of the character. However, this is instead of the normal, what we consider normal war rewards that we've had for a very long time, which is War Wheel. And we're obviously going to be losing effectively a character at this point. If you were coming in first, sometimes second as well, you generally would get a character or get a pull or very close to one in one war. We're going to be missing that now, and I think a lot of people were debating. You saw a lot of people talking about it on my Discord, in my live streams, I see it on the forums in terms of what the next war wheel could be, and it does look like we're not going to get one. So I guess the question is, would you prefer a war wheel where you're getting Gen 1 and Gen 2 extendables, who are probably never going to become S-Class characters and going to be probably not very useful quite quickly, or would you prefer getting these collectibles? And in terms of how much you're getting, let's just look at S-Class Pete. That's probably the best one because he's going to be most likely the most accessible. He's going to be the one that most people would generally have the most of, unless they've been actively claiming ice cream cones on the selected rewards there instead. Now, if you come in first place, you get 600 blue keys potentially if you want to claim all of them. And that's over 5% of S-Class Pete. Isn't that much in terms of the overall amount you would need. It is, like I said, a little bit more in terms of if you were wanting a 5-star ascendable for Laupo and Raulito, you could be much closer to those. In terms of your full way there, I don't think it's that much of a jump. You're not really getting the full feeling of achieving anything this war. I don't think it's so much about the prizes themselves. It's, again, I'm coming back to this quite a lot. It's mainly about the way they do S-Class characters. Having an S-Class character in the museum where the keys that you've got are basically all invested in the museum rather than invested in the character themselves. Obviously, there's no real progression here. You're not getting anything. Whereas, let's say, I did talk about this in my last video, if you already had the character and the keys were used to upgrade that character, you could see that first place, you could get him to the next tier. You could maybe get him up 2 tiers. Maybe you could get him to S-Class finally. Maybe you could get him to 6-star finally. I think that if they were more progressive in what keys represented, they're not. It's just a flat value, and the second you get 11k, you've got the character, which some people will probably actually like. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it. Doesn't feel very progressive. I'd like to be using my Pete now on World Map, getting to use him as a 5-star ascendable, get him to 6-star, maybe start using him in some defense team raids. He's still quite strong. Then get him to S-Class, he's even stronger, great, and then just keep doing that. I think that would be much better going forward. It would also, like I say, make these prizes in war just seem a little bit more like I'm achieving something. Having that 3,092 go up to 3,692 literally just doesn't affect my gameplay at all, and it doesn't feel like I've achieved anything in the war. I don't think any of my faction will really feel like they've achieved anything in war. I think most people will probably go for the other characters. I'm not surprised if people start going for the other characters, the Priyas, the Raulitos, just because they're a little bit more accessible. Not the 6 stars, sorry, the 5 stars. So you've got like 5-star Raulito, only needs 2k, and they just want to get a character on their roster to feel like they've actually got something and they're progressing. And I think you'll probably see a lot of people do that versus going for Pete. Now, personally, I haven't claimed any of the collections that I've got. I've got so many crates. I could potentially get Raulito very soon. I could potentially get Laupo very soon if I so wanted. But I'm just holding off until I know I'm in a really good position to get an S-Class character. And when it comes to the other rewards, the Velvet Cakes, it's nice, I guess, if the collections in the museum are a little bit more accessible. I think the majority of them have been promos. I was fortunate enough to already have Mercer from a War Wheel, so it's fine for me. But I know the majority have been promos so far. I'm going to just say the ones I can remember. The other ones are like Xander, Mia, Sherry have all been promo exclusive. I think Sherry was maybe on a random wheel once. Maybe Xander was actually on a random wheel once as well. They're not easily come by, and these rewards are effectively useless. And this is going to be quite accessible to everybody because you only need to hit 25k to get these, and that's what, 300s? Is that 300 or is it? No, it's 200. So you can get 200 of these, and then you've got the placement velvet cakes as well. This is a good promotion to try and get people to actually pull to get an extra few velvet cakes. But if they haven't got the character in the first place, they're not likely to do that. So it'd be really great if the character within those could be something a bit more that's widespread. Not just promos, for instance, but someone like, I don't know, it could even be the very first 6-star, Ezekiel. A lot of people have this guy. It'll allow people to use the velvet cakes they've actually earned. I know that this is most likely done to try and promote spending and to promote people pulling on the wheels. But, you know, 90% of the game isn't going to be able to spend. People might spend their coins that they've earned and just get lucky, but they're not going to spend to try and get something to claim in the museum for velvet cakes. It's kind of ridiculous to expect that as well. So all in all, I'm kind of not too excited about the war rewards, but I do think they're okay long term. It's just short term, I don't feel like I've achieved anything by competing. You know, my faction, I don't think anyone will be like, yes, except maybe someone that just gets the 5-star ascendable prayer, for instance, or just gets 5-star ascendable Laupo, or just gets 5-star ascendable Raulito. That's the only people that'll feel like, hey, this war, I got something out of it. Majority of people will just be like, oh, I've got 12 boxes in my inventory now for the next couple of months until I decide what to do with them. But like I said, it would be great if we had the characters in our roster so we could just say, hey, I want to just upgrade this character to the next tier. But do tell me what you think about the war rewards. Do tell me what you think about the velvet cakes, the RNG boxes that are now choice boxes. I do like the fact they're choice boxes. At least you get to choose. That's very, very good. But in terms of the amount we're getting, what they represent, that's not going to be instant gratification either. You know, it's going to be a long time till they're going to be quite useful. But yeah, do tell me what you think though. That's the end of my video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.